Yeah, can you hear
Okay, this is a question and answer type meeting, and I can get deeper into the explanations about the course and maybe do an overview of that. I sent a welcome video out that kind of dove into what to expect, but I'm here tonight to answer any of your questions and just briefly give you an update on how we're doing. So I'm Roy Yancey, I'm your instructor, and I see we have two participants live. That's good, so I'm not talking to myself. My wife worries about me when I do that. And I'm going to share the screen with you to show you our course. I can get this to come up here. Sometimes I have to reduce this down to where I can see what I'm doing. Can everybody see our login screen for the class?
I see your computer background with umbrellas.
Wrong screen. Okay, let me see if I can get the right screen. That's why I always ask. Okay. Did it do it again? Let's see. I don't know why it's defaulting to that, but let's just do this. Let's just drag my screen over here. Okay. So I got announcements. I probably peppered you folks with quite a few of those over the last couple of weeks. I'm trying to get everybody started and to find out if they're running into any issues and see if I can get them help. If it's getting the code activated or if it's finding your textbook or how do I do the assignments? How do I turn them in? I try to get all those set up early so we have a great success rate. Folks like you, both of you are doing pretty well in the class. I have 100% pass rate on the yellow belt certification. So you're already starting off on the right track. The ones that struggle, it's because they didn't come out to the class and do the work. It's not because it's difficult. It's well laid out and easy to understand, and it's a very great credential to have. It's very valuable to you. The syllabus, by now you've already read through that and see all of the things that are included in the course. Our last day withdrawal is today. And after our meeting, I have to report 4 of our classmates here that haven't showed up as no-shows. So they'll be able to come back in if whatever's going on with them works out and they can re-enter. So we have some discussions, and those are all, except for the introduction one, related to the book that you read a couple chapters each week. It's a very light read book, and it's free of charge to you, and it's embedded into the course under the Ivy Plus bookshelf tab. I'll click on that when we go through that particular part. There's quizzes also that are pertaining to that book. They all start off with lean, and I think that goes through 6 different modules where you have quizzes on those. And then you have the Six Sigma Global Institute's Yellow Belt quizzes, and those are broke up in 3 chapter chunks for you to do each week, and you earn 30 points for completing those with that 80 or higher. And if you get 100, then I add an extra point for each one of those chapters that you max out. You can retake them as often as you want. That's all quizzes. You can retake as often as you want. So if you go through there and you missed a couple, it'll show you the ones you got wrong. Just go back through and try it again. The 5S project, if you get to chapter 7 in the yellow belt, it's got a breakout of what's involved in the 5S. And I think it's in chapter 3 of the textbook. It gets down into detail what each one of the S's stand for in the 5S. But that's a relatively fun one. You're just going to find something that needs organized in your workspace or in your home space, and you're going to go through and sort through what you're going to keep, what needs to be put in storage, what needs to be donated or trashed. You're going to label the area that you're going to store each of the different items, so that if somebody else was to go into that space, they'd be able to find it easier. And it just makes it easier for you to return it to the space that it was originally in. And then you're going to have like a weekly or monthly checklist that you come back and make sure everything's where it's at, and that you got it all cleaned up and it's in good shape. I use that in my garage. When I did this myself, the yellow belt several years ago, and it's amazing how much easier it is for me to send my daughter out to get a hammer or a screwdriver or extension cord or whatever, because everything's so well marked. So that's been a long lasting dividend to me doing that project. Others have done things like reorganize their closet. My wife really didn't like that I put labels on the shelves in our closet, but now if I'm doing laundry or something and I need to know where swimming suits or socks or something goes, for her, I know where she wants to keep them. And it makes it easy to identify my 2 inches of hanger space that I have devoted to me while she has the rest of the closet. So it even worked in that case, doing a closet. Other folks have done things like their pantry or medicine cabinet. So it's whatever you have available. We just want to see if you know how to use the process of organizing it in a lean fashion. The VSM, Value Stream Map Project, the part that you're going to get graded on is the peanut butter and jelly sandwich that you're going to make. And if you're allergic to peanuts, you can use Spam or fish or bananas, doesn't matter, as long as it's 2 different ingredients. And you're going to actually record or have somebody record you making the sandwich. And you're going to start from going and getting all of the resources you need and the supplies you need, the tools you need. And then you're going to make the sandwich, and then you're going to put everything away, just like before you started. And so when you look at your recording, each one of those steps, you're going to put in the time based on what your recording says that it took you to do that step. And so when you have the beginning one, the first one is go get your peanut butter out of the pantry, go get your bread out of the bread box or the refrigerator, wherever you keep it. If you make a second one, that's what this is supposed to show, the value stream. When you do the first one, you got the setup and you got the tear down at the end. But when you do the second sandwich, you don't have to go get all of that stuff, and you don't have to put it all away if you're doing the second sandwich. So say it took you 3 minutes to make that first one, the second one's probably only going to take you about 30 seconds. And so that's what we're doing to identify what in that value stream are steps that actually create the sandwich, and what are, like in if it was a manufacturing environment, what are setup, maintenance, or tear down times. They're not necessarily part of that value stream for the second and the other iterations. So that one's a pretty fun one. And my students told me they've taken care of that assignment in about 20 minutes. But you might want to look ahead at those 2 major assignments. Then you got the yellow belt certification exam. You need to get a 70 on it. It's got a no time limit. And the questions that are on that exam are ones that you've seen on the quizzes. They don't try to trick you on any of it. And you can retake this exam as often as you need to get above 70%. The way it's graded for points, I'm not much of a fan of. I think if you get your certification, you deserve all the points. But the way that it's set up for the online course is you get 3 points per point that you earn. So if you get a 70, which is the minimum score, you'd only get 210 points for your yellow belt. I didn't get 100% on that, and I wanted to see how many times it would take to get 100%. I gave up after about the 3rd attempt, but we'll see how that works out when we get to it. I'm not really fond of how they've got that set up for grading. So way your grade's calculated, you get a total of 1,200 points. And there's two different times that you give us an update on how you're doing on your project, your 5S project. The first time you just say, hey, I want to organize my closet, and that's worth 20 points. The next time you're like, hey, I've started on my project. Here's a picture of the before, and I'm starting to get boxes together and something to make labels, even if it's Post-it notes, just to show that you've got places designated for this project where you want them to go. Label machines are printing off, something in Word or Excel and then taping them on there, make them look nicer. I mean, if you're actually going to keep them labeled, some people like that it's labeled in their pantry where they got cereal and they got soup and they got different types of stuff labeled in their pantry. It just makes it easier when you go to make your grocery list, or you want to make dinner and find out what you got available, put it together with. So you can make them removable labels. You can put them on there like you want to keep them a little longer. That's fine. But that's the second step, and that's worth 30 points. So when you actually complete the project, you want to have at least one PowerPoint slide for each of the S's. So 5 slides is what we're looking for there, and you explain what you did in each one of those steps, and hopefully you've taken a picture that shows that step. And we have some very good examples of both of those assignments, the video TPM peanut butter, VCM peanut butter project, and the 5S. We have good samples from previous students for you to look at. A 90%, in other words, 1,050 points gets you an A. So 80% is a B, 70% is a C. As in most Ivy Tech courses, all your logistics and business classes are this same grading scale. I think that the nursing folks have like a 93 for an A and an 85 or something. So it's a little different for nursing. But the rest of the general ed classes and Ivy Tech classes, it's 90, 80, 70, 60. Our course summary is basically the list of assignments, assignment calendar. And I know we started on a Wednesday, and this is the last semester, thank God, that they're doing this experiment. They were thinking that if we started on a Wednesday, that the holidays that fall on Monday, there would be time for the students to work more on their assignments. But it just did not work out that well. We start the semester after MLK, and so that Monday's not even included in the 8 weeks. And I think that it's so confusing for students. They're emailing me saying, hey, I can't get my work done on Monday and Tuesday. And I'm sending them back replies saying, well, we don't start till Wednesday. And so the first week is rather short. It goes from Wednesday until Monday night. But then the rest of the semester, it goes from Tuesday till the next Monday night. So you get 7 days out of the rest of it. So we're now in the second week, because on Monday, the first week ended, and I posted grades for that. And then the second week started on Tuesday. So we're in Wednesday, and I've already graded today. And the way that grade works, and I'll open that up so you can see it in a minute, is I put down what week we're in and how many points you could possibly earn from first and second week. Each week that number goes up. And at the bottom, there is a time and a date that is due. Well, that's when I came out and actually manually moved over all of those yellow belt scores that you earned, because it's at a different site, and I have to manually enter those in there. And any discussion boards that aren't automatically graded, I go ahead and type in responses to each of those. So as we progress, each one of the weeks are modules, and it ends with you going down and taking your exam for the yellow belt. The best way to track this course is to go through the modules. Then it's going to show you everything that's due that week, and it keeps you on track. I usually collapse the week after we finish it, but you can still open that and do any of the assignments that maybe you hadn't finished yet. It just makes it easier for students to click on module, and our current module is what's showing. So this week, we're doing our live meeting, and I do give people credit for coming out and viewing this. And if you're watching this video and you're seeing that I'm giving extra credit to the folks that are attending, you too, for reviewing it, can send me a message and say, I watched this video, and you will get a credit for watching the video. So let's see how many people actually come out and do that. But we've got the Lean Six Sigma, the next 3 chapters, which is 4, 5, and 6. Your proposal for your S5 project is due this week, and you're not, sworn in concrete. You can change your mind, but I just want to get an idea that you know what we're looking for by telling me what you propose to do. And then you've got the next 2 chapters in the textbook for the lean discussion. It's on stability. And then you've got a quiz over chapters 3 and 4, stability and standardized work, that's in that textbook. So if we go over and look at where these textbooks are, I go down to Ivy Plus bookshelf. And Ivy Plus means that you get the book included with the class. And right now we have a grant from the state that you don't have to pay for your books or your codes. And so when you open up this Ivy Plus, it's going to show you your textbook. This one that says read now, it should be good for a year for you to have access to this book. This author is quoted in the Yellow Belt course. So it's a quality textbook, and that's a resource for some of the studies that this author's been involved in. So I got a visitor over here. The pup just walked in. So it's a quality textbook, and I already got it keyed up. I was going through here to kind of give you an idea of what it looked like, but I'll go ahead and key mine up to chapter 3, where you're going to start off with stability. And this talks about the Toyota's invention of the lean standards. So that's your textbook. Let's go back one. And I'll show you if you are having issues. If I can get this back, here it is. With getting your book, actually, you have to request the code. Let me see if I can pull up. I'm sorry, I just closed this out there. And everything, of course, is covered up. Let me see if I can see my tabs by pulling this down. There we go. The way you get to your textbook or your code is you're going to go out to My Ivy, and when you log in, you can either pick to go to Ivy Learn or My Ivy, and there's like all these tools and resources that you can select from. Well, they're in alphabetical order, so just go down to books and supplies. That takes you out to the bookstore, and there's a place for you to log in, and if you do that, it's going to know what classes that you're looking for. Because I'm an instructor, I'm not going to log in because I don't have any books that I'm looking for. But once you log in, it'll take you to your textbook section, but you can click on Find Textbooks. And since you are taking this online, your campus you're selecting isn't your home campus. It's the Ivy Online Statewide and Ivy Tech Fort Wayne. And this is where the majority of my students that are having issues not getting their code requested are missing this step. They're not choosing Ivy Online. So when you choose that, you don't want the print option, because this is where you can get a book sent to you in print version. I think it's like $10 just to cover the postage, unless you want that book printed and sent to you. It's like a copy. It's not a real, it's a loose leaf book. But we're going to use the Ivy Plus because this is the one that gives you the free codes. Your department, we're a log, so it's alphabetical order down to LOGM. If I can stop it quick enough here. Okay, let's try this again. There I am. It sucks to be old. All right, so I got log, and you folks are in 201. And we're in the second 8 week, we're in 51P. So when you click on find the materials for that course, it's going to bring up this Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt access. And so we select that access. Let me go back one. I think there were 2 different ones. It won't let me. And then you just add it to your cart. Now, since I don't have I haven't signed in. It's not going to let me add it to my cart, but this will be free. And that's how they key up who needs the codes. And then they send it to you via email. So originally, the people that signed up for the class, I was told they mailed them to them. And a couple of the folks who were early registrants, that signed up for this class right when it opened up, they got sent to them the first week of March, second week of March. But the folks who joined later, say in February or early March, they did not get the codes. And so they have to go through this ritual here to request them. And again, it's IB Online. So my bookstore manager's been helpful trying to work with IB Online's bookstore to get them to my students. But this is the easiest way for it to get to you, is you to directly order it yourself. And we should be able to move on down the road. But if you look at, now we're going to go out to the Six Sigma site. And if you look at the course that you're waiting on the code for, it's a very well laid out course, but the assignments are very brief, like 3-minute videos, and then like 5 or 10 questions on the quiz. So you could actually get through a chapter in anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes at max. And you're going to do 3 of those. Most of my students report that it takes maybe 20, 25 minutes. Are either of you students that are on with me tonight, can you tell us how long it took you to do your assignments on the Yellow Belt? Matt or April or unknown caller?
Yeah.
Are you talking about the quizzes?
Yeah, just the Six Sigma assignments. How have you been out and done yours? I believe you did, didn't you?
Yeah, I did mine.
And how long did that take you to do those, Matt?
About 20 minutes.
Let me turn my volume up. Say again.
About 20 minutes.
Okay. So I have some panic students, about 8 that haven't got started on the Yellow Belt side of it. Just to rest assured that you can get caught up and you're not going to get penalized for the work that's turned in from last week because you didn't have access. I don't usually play that, penalize people for points, because it takes the same effort to do the assignment on time as it does to do it late. So I grade every assignment that comes in. Yeah, we do want you to be responsible students, and part of supply chain is being somewhere on time. But I realize that this isn't an ideal situation with people's work schedules or families, and online is already a challenge. So I don't want to stress my students with that. It's not necessary. That basically is our course. The tabs that you will be using most often are module. I do ask that you check out our announcements. At a minimum, I want to put something out there once a week, just telling you, hey, here's how where we are, what we've done, here's what's coming up. And if there's something that a lot of the students are asking about, like there's a situation with a question or something, I'll address that to the whole class and give credit to whoever the student was that got on top of that. But here we are in our first week. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 announcements so far. They will slow down. I won't beat you up that much with that a fire hose effect of announcements, but I want you to know that I do check this every day, and I try to grade as often as possible. But at a minimum, you see that I've already had preloaded each week our discussion and what is expected of you that week, and then I'll go out and I'll update it with any concerns that I might have had from you, the people. As far as grades, one of the columns in the grade book does a percentage wise based on how many assignments have been completed. And that's confusing because right now we have like 7 assignments that are due by next Tuesday. And if one person put 1 assignment in, then they get 100% for that 1 assignment. It doesn't do how many you're supposed to get done, what percentage of that you got done. It just rates your grade on what you did do. So I put a second column in there that says current grade, and it actually has the point value. Let's see, it should be under modules so you can see what that looks like. It actually has the point value up to second week, and I put in your grade that you actually do have. Sometimes there's no difference because people have an A and they've got everything done, but other people may have one assignment done and it's showing 100% when really that one assignment was worth 10 points and you should have 170 points offered to you by next Tuesday. So here it has the due date. That's when I looked at this at 5:30 today, and it's telling you what your grade is to that point for the week that we're currently in. So I just changed this to 170 from 65 points because we're now in the second week. So that's kind of the overview of the course. And I hope that I'd had a room full of folks that may have had questions, and I'd like to, speak to you, hear your voices, maybe connect a voice with the work that you're turning in. But at any time, if you need to get in touch with me, I answer my email via cell phone, or I can meet with you by phone, or I can set up a Zoom, one of these with you. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm at Lawrence. I have an office there with a camera and all the stuff that's in our lab. And then I'm at, that's on Tuesdays. And then I'm in Plainfield on Wednesdays. I have a class over there that I teach. But my home office that I'm in now, I'm available. I've taken calls as late as 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. Second shifters or people who are just getting the kids to bed or whatever. I understand how that goes. And I never sleep. If you've ever looked at the time that I post announcements, I think 4 a.m. I was grading this morning. So if I have to walk the dogs or something, I just stop in and check in with my class and try to stay on top of that. So this is my 17th year with Ivy Tech. I was one of the pioneers back in 2002 that put together the first online class. It was Intro to Business. And since then, the colleges have all accepted that that is a alternate method of delivering our courses. It was a lot of folks in academia pushed back against it, saying it won't be the same quality, it won't be the same rigor, it won't be all this. And once they actually taught one of them and saw the work that the students turned in to prove their understanding of the material, it won them over. So now they have concerns that somebody else might be doing the work, and if they had their way, you guys would be in Zoom 3 or 4 hours with cameras on you the whole time that you're doing the class. But that's just crazy. I mean, if somebody wanted to cheat, there is a huge market out there of different folks that say, want to pass this class, and they basically take it for you. The only person that you're cheating is yourself, because there's some very useful skills in the logistics courses that you're taking that will reward you in a career and in a paycheck with these higher skills that you're picking up on how to operate in a higher quality environment with less waste and safer procedures. All of these things make common sense no matter if you're in supply chain or not. But the only person you'd be cheating if you let somebody else do your work is you. I'm here to help you if there's something that stumbles you. Chris Reidner is the program chair. He took over in August for me. I did it for 12 years, and I was like, please, Chris, let's trade jobs. So he's doing a great job as the program chair. He also has taught all of our classes. He actually helped. I wrote this class, the part for the Yellow Belt and the S5 project and the Value Map project. Those are part of my course. The state level, because there's 12 regions and they all wanted to have their own version of it, they basically put that book and the discussion questions and the textbook questions on top of my class. So you folks have the pleasure of doing 2 classes in one, just because of the political environment that we're in. Everybody wants to have their say about what goes into a course. If you were taking this at Ivy Tech in Indianapolis, you'd only have the Yellow Belt and those 2 assignments in. So there's less work, but you do come to class. So there's value in that textbook. There's value in those assignments to teach you more about quality, because Lean Six Sigma is basically all lean. And we want to give you the full story about quality and lean. So there is value in it. It's just, I think it's too much for 8 weeks to have all of that work. So if you're working on an AMI class, do the work for that yellow belt, earn your yellow belt. You leave here with not only 3 college credits in the logistics class, but you have a internationally recognized certification that's going to get you a lot more opportunity when it comes to promotions and increase in pay. So that's job one, is getting that certification. You'll pass the class, it'll follow, your A will follow that. But if you have to crunch on which one of these assignments am I going to do first, always resort to getting prepared to take that yellow belt. So that's my piece. I'm taking 30 minutes here. Does anybody have any questions that's online with us?
I do not. I am good.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a question.
Okay, go ahead.
How many questions are on the yellow belt certification?
I'm having problems hearing. Let me turn this up more. I'm an old dude. Okay, try once again.
How many questions are on the yellow belt certification? And do those questions come from our quiz?
How many questions are on the yellow belt certification? 90.
Okay, and do those questions come from our weekly chapter quiz?
Yes, those questions are out of they have a test bank that they come out of from each one of those chapter quizzes. You might get 1 or 2 questions from each one of the chapters. The thing that I like about it is when you go to retake it, it doesn't change the questions and it doesn't reshuffle. So if you're taking notes and trying to get the wording on a question is a little funny to you and you write it down or something, and you end up wanting to take it again, then you'll see that same question. Okay. And there's no time limit. I mean, so I think mine took like 20 minutes, but I've had people who may have difficulty reading, or they get a little frustrated or antsy when they're in a test environment, and they may take an hour and a half, but you got all the time that you need. Any other questions? Who's my unidentified caller here? What's your name? I want to give you credit for coming out to the live version.
That's me. I'm connected via the computer and my phone without my audio.
So you are online and on your phone, Matt? Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Anything I can answer about maybe summer or fall classes? I'd be glad to help advise you or help you get enrolled in those. The earlier you get your picks, the better choices you have. And is everybody aware of the next level grant that's offered by Indiana that will pay for all 6 of your logistics classes and Boat 207, which is Microsoft Office, for free? Even if you're getting veterans money or you're getting Pell Grants or what have you, this is a separate grant that the state is authorized for people who go into fields that are in high demand and have high pay. So you could do medical, you could do building trades, you could do IT. There's a business one that's under HR. I think it's an HR certificate. And then logistics, but there's like 20 different fields that you could do this grant with, and it doesn't cost you any money.
And what's the name of the grant again?
It's the Next Level Jobs. And if you just type in Next Level Jobs, it'll take you out to in.gov, the government site for Indiana. And it has a 1-page, 5-question application. And it'll ask you, are you 18? Are you a US citizen? Do you live in Indiana? And then it'll ask you if you already have an advanced degree. And then they'll ask you what's it in, if you do have one. And that's it. It's 100% of the people who apply for it get it. It's not competitive. It's not based on your income or your need or any of that. It's just, hey, I'm interested in going to logistics, and the state says we need more logistics professionals that are certified. So we will pay for you to go through the training. And if you take this to your employer can send as many of their employees as they want through the training, and the state will reimburse the employer. So you can either individually do it. You'll see it says, are you the employee or are you an employer? And either way, you can get the grant. So when you get out there, just select that you're an employee, and they'll ask you those 5 questions.
Nice.
The only requirements in this to get the grant, to get it paid for, is once you have you've turned that application in, you have your current year FAFSA, your federal aid application on file, and that you are enrolled in at least 2 classes per semester. So you can take 1 in each 8 weeks, and they will they build Ivy Tech bills the state directly, so you don't even get billed for it. Now they're barking. And I'll just wanted to bring to your attention another resource that my students find useful. Let me see if I can share the screen and bring it up. It is, and I'll bring up that Next Level site too, so you can see what it looks like. Let's see. I just need to move this control thing here out of the way, maybe. Let's see, it's Next Level Jobs. Okay, let me share my, yeah, I think I'm sharing it. All right, so it brings you out. I just typed it in Google. Is this the one I want? No. Let me go back one, because I want to go right to the page where we apply for it. And it should say Next Level Jobs. There we go, Next Level Jobs. So we click on this one. Yeah, this is the right one. And I'm a job seeker. And I want the Workforce Ready grant. So I apply by saying get started. It tells you need your FAFSA. You need, do you live in Indiana? Yep. And they asked me what county, and I don't even know. Madison, I think is where I'm at. Yeah, that's where I pay my mortgage taxes to. And then it asks, what region of the state's most convenient for you? It's probably going to be Central. And then highest education you completed. Here's where they ask you if you have any other degrees or associate degrees or any of that stuff. Let's just say that I'm a high school graduate. And then it sends me to, I live in Indiana. There was one here that's going to ask what school I want to go to, I believe. There was a problem. Which one is my problem? Oh, this one. I'm Madison County. Yeah, this normally takes like 5 seconds. Here's where you pick transportation logistics, or if you're interested in these other ones. But, you know, I'm selling the transportation logistics free money. How soon can you start? Send me in 0 to 3 months. When can you attend classes? Days, nights, online preferred. And then next, this tells about all the places that you can go to school. I want Ivy Tech, because you can use this grant to go to truck driving school, to Vincennes, anywhere you want to go with it. It's state money. So I picked Ivy Tech, and now I put my name and address in there. They contact Ivy Tech. That's the end of the process. So it's that simple to get around $7,500 free in tuition paid to you. This other site that I want to show you, since I'm recording, and maybe somebody will be able to come out here. There's the address to it if you want to go straight to it. nextleveljobs.org will take you straight to it. But I want to go to clep.org. See if this will come up since I'm already there. Here we go. Okay, is this the right one? It's Department of Education. Yeah, it's a College Board. So I don't know if you've heard of this program, but it's called College Level Examination, and it lets you test out of college courses. And so Ivy Tech accepts them, IU, any college that accepts federal aid from your financial aid accepts CLEPS credits. And so if we look at what they are, there's all of these different courses that you can CLEP out of, all of your general education subjects. If you're working on our degree, you can get all of our general ed. If you're working on business, they even have business courses that you can CLEP out, like 70-something business courses. I'm just trying to get to that page so I can show you the different ones. Explore CLEP benefits, maybe that'll show up to me. But it's, here we go. I don't want to register right now for an exam. I just want to look at CLEP. Well, I think that I'm where I'm supposed to be. CLEP exam, that's what I want to look at, the different ones, the topics. So there's a list that Ivy Tech is right outside of any other testing rooms that has a list of all the CLEPs that they have available to you. But you can see on here, it's got macro, history, it's got English, it's got math, sciences, business, there's financial accounting. People hate that one. It's got an introduction to law, principles of management, principles of marketing. These different ones that are for language, these are worth 16 college credit hours. They're $89 to take. That's what the CLEPs cost. All of them cost the same. There's 65 questions. You get 90 minutes. In other words, 45 minutes to take part 1 with 30 questions and 45 minutes to take part 2 with 45 questions. They're all multiple choice. And if you score well enough on the test, you get college credit for taking that exam. So somebody give me a wild guess what they think you have to score on the test to get credit. What's the passing score?
70.
That's a good guess. It's 50. 50. 50. So you get 33 questions right. You get 6 to 16 credit hours put on your transcript. And it comes in as a transfer class. It'll say financial accounting, CLEP College Board. .org, and then it'll have a T over there for your grade for transfer. Like you went to school somewhere else, it gets transferred in on your transcript. And like I say, this is good at IU, Purdue, any college that accepts financial aid accepts CLEPs. This is one of the best kept secrets because we're not going to be selling you a class if you test out of it. But for people who want to get their degree done and protect their GPA and do it in less time and less expense, this is how I went from, I'm 38, I'm retired from the Army, and I'm like, oh man, I don't have my degree. I CLEPed out of my first 2 years of college and started in my bachelor degree. When I first sat in a classroom, it was for my bachelor degree. And I was able to finish my bachelor and master degree in less than 2 years. So the time that you could spend at Ivy Tech, you could be at your master degree if you take advantage of these CLEPs. I had some experience in classes from my military time. So I had probably a little more of a head start than somebody right out of high school. But if you are any good at all at like studying for a test, let's just look at this one for management. It has a pre-test and it has everything that's on the test is listed here. It even tells you how many people pass it. This one has like an 85% pass rate. The granting score, 50%, semester hours, 3. If you pick one of the gen ed ones, let's go back one if it'll let me, like for history or chemistry or biology, any of the ones that are in general ed, English comp, those are worth 6 credit hours. So it gives you 2 years worth of credit if you take any of the general ed courses, 6 credit hours for that. And you only got to get a 50. And so you can come out here, there's all kinds of different cheap stuff. This official study guide has the answers and questions. There's 34 different exams for you to pre-take. It's digital and printed, whichever way you want to. And so this is about the only thing you're going to spend to prepare to take the CLEP. This $24 will show you actual questions that are on the CLEP itself. And it gives you 3 different practice exams for each subject. But I can't imagine why, if somebody's trying to get to a associate or a bachelor, that they wouldn't want to get there as quickly, inexpensively as possible. And it doesn't harm your transcript when you have transfer credits on it. I've got folks that come from Purdue and IU that have transfer credits. It shows up just like that, CLEPs do. So I thought I'd share that nugget with you. My folks in class really do appreciate that. Some of them have went on either in my intro class in one semester, and then they do the CLEPs and they're in the operations management class, the last class, in the next semester. So they've wiped out all of the classes that they needed to get done within those 2 semesters. So this is something you might want to look into. Doesn't cost anything to check it out. And I can tell you that it's worth the effort to explore that. So do I have any questions? Okay, I'm going to turn off my share screen and I'm going to turn off the record. Thank you for attending. If anybody wants to speak to me offline, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording so everybody doesn't get to hear a question maybe you don't want to share.